Hey, I'm just waiting for a couple of moments here for Joe. Hey everyone, my name is Friedel Fink and I'm the founder of Big Sis. And if you watch this space, you know that it's important to us that everyone, but especially our young people, develop a great relationship with their bodies, with their minds, and especially with their reproductive organs. So tonight we are talking about a really important part of our body in conversation with a very special guest. And this part of our body is as important as our legs, as our stomach, as our throat, and really everyone need to know about it. Jo is the creator of the Vulva Diversity campaign, This Is A Vulva, and I'm just gonna see if I can let her in. Did that work?
Yay, I'm
Hi, Jo.
here.
Hey,
Hi,
welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
you're welcome. Hi, it's so nice
And
to meet you.
yeah, we tried for a while, but COVID on both sides, I think, stopped us.
Yes, it did, but we will prevail. We're here now, so that's all good.
Yeah, we're here now. Joe, I'd love for everyone who's viewing to know a little bit how This Is a Vulva came about, because maybe for some people hearing about vulva diversity campaigns is a new thing. Would you
Yeah,
tell
of
me?
course. Yeah. So I started this as a vulva, I think about 6 or 7 years ago now, and it came about because I realised that we just don't see very many depictions of vulvas. We see cock and balls all the time; they're always scribbled onto school tables and graffitied onto walls, but you never see vulvas anywhere. So to begin with, I sort of thought, let's just get more vulvas out there and put them on Instagram and kind of just have more that people can see. But then the more that I kind of researched and was in this world, I found out that there were girls as young as 9 in the UK asking for labiaplasty on the NHS. Now, labiaplasty is a cosmetic surgery to change the appearance of your vulva. And when I was 9, I was still like playing in the garden with my friends. I was not thinking about what my vulva looked like, and that felt really heartbreaking to me that there were young people really feeling so at odds with their bodies. They wanted to go under the knife to change it. There was also things about being at a 21-year low for people going for a smear test, which is it's a it prevents cervical cancer. And when people asked why did you not want to go, they kind of cited embarrassment. They were worried that they looked wrong, or that they smelt bad, or all of these, which again has been the news recently in the UK, that I think it was a study of 3,003 women and girls, well, no, women, asking them why they didn't attend their last smear test. And I think it was something like 47% of them said that they were embarrassed to go. And I just thought, wow, we're so ashamed of our own bodies. That's something that's so natural, is the vulva. Is like you were saying earlier, it's no different from your stomach, from your arms, from anything else. And yet we're so embarrassed that we're not going and having really uh, necessary medical checkups. So I just thought, right, well, let's put more education out there. Let's put more vulvas out there so that people can see what the diversity and range of vulvas that there are. Because again, a lot of people think that their vulva is completely abnormal, looks different to everybody else's. No one has one that looks like theirs. And vulvas are like faces. Everyone's is a bit different. You know, everyone's got the same parts, but they're all made up a little bit differently. Um, and it's just kind of grown from there, really, just doing things like this. I run workshops called labia lessons where I go into a lot more detail about the vulva and how each one is different, and we look at images, lots of things that really just to help educate everybody with or without vulvas, what vulvas actually look like and how to look after them, and also to encourage people to do things like go for smear tests and yeah, that sort of stuff. So it's kind of just, it kind of, yeah, started almost as like a little bit of a joke, and now it's, yeah, this quite big thing that's taken over my life, and I love it. It's really, yeah, it's really good.
Wonderful. I imagine 7 years ago the Instagram landscape was more sparsely populated with that sort of stuff.
Definitely. I mean, now there's loads of vulva accounts, which is just fantastic. Like to see more and more people talking about positive vulva and vagina experiences is just wonderful. So I'm so glad that it's changed. It's so nice to be a part of that, definitely. But yeah, when I
Yeah.
started, it was unusual to say the least, I think.
And can you remember what was the first things you learned about your vulva or your vagina, maybe including that?
Ah,
As a
interesting.
young
What was the
person?
first thing I learned? I can't remember the first thing, but I know the thing that sticks with me the most is that there's a part of the vulva. So you have the outer labia, which are like the hairy, fattier lips, and you've got the inner labia, which don't have any hair on them. And then within the inner labia, that area there is called the vestibule. And to me, I just always thought that was a really lovely word. It's like the waiting area, like the waiting area to the vagina is the vestibule on the vulva. And I just thought it was really fun. Thought it was a really nice thing to learn. I'd never heard it before.
That's wonderful. It's actually an architectural term as well. Yeah.
Oh yeah?
It's in architecture to actually describe exactly that. Sort of
Yeah.
like the three, how do you say, waiting area
Yeah,
or
the
like
waiting
the
area.
entry area.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I just love it. I thought it was a nice way of describing it. But I mean, I never had much education about the vulva at secondary school and sex education. Like I did have sex ed, but it was pretty rubbish. And so I'm 34, so it was a little while ago, but not super ages ago. And we didn't learn about the vulva. We only learned about the internal gynecological organs, so the vagina, the ovaries, the uterus, that sort of stuff. But in terms of the vulva, almost nothing, maybe a couple of diagrams, but nothing was properly labeled, and definitely no photographs. There was nothing that showed any kind of differences. It was all very kind of small, neat lines, and nothing that kind of, if you were to look at that and then look at your own vulva, you'd just be thinking, these are not connected at all. They look nothing like each other. Of course, we're looking at them and thinking, well, I must be abnormal because we've got nothing to compare it to that is realistic. We've either got very simple diagrams or we've got porn. And I have no problem with porn, but I do think that porn shows a very specific type of body for the most part. It's a bit like, people say it's a bit like watching James Bond compared to real life. Like, as long as you're aware that it's not real and that it's very dramatic, it's over the top, these things don't happen in real life, then that's fine. But that's, people are learning about their bodies and about sex from porn. I know that I did, and I learned some pretty terrible things that I thought were normal when it came to sex, and it's not. I mean, porn is just not sex. It's a completely different thing, and as long as we're aware of that, that's fine. But yeah, we're getting a lot of education from porn, and it's not good education in my eyes anyway.
Absolutely. At least, and like the age group that we're working with is like primary, secondary school. So
Mm,
in year 5, year 6, you are 10, 11, and it's definitely not an age to pick up things from porn. But the reality
yeah,
is also that it happens because kids have phones and it's
yeah.
very hard to safeguard them from it. So we do actually use, I wonder if you know these from Vagina Museum, from Charlotte Illustrates. She makes
I
these.
love Charlotte. Yeah, we actually grew up in the same, very near each other, but a few years apart, which is very bizarre. But yes, she's brilliant, isn't
Oh,
she?
that's really funny.
Yeah.
So for those who haven't seen that, this is basically, I'll hold it right. These are three different types of vulvas with different shape of lips, different color, and really shows us how different they might look. These are just three out of how many
Yeah.
how many people do we have on Earth? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just wonderful to see these illustrations coming up as well, because I think they're really great for kids as well as, you know, children. Some of these illustrations are, I think, really age appropriate for younger age as well. And in our workshops, we also encourage people to have a look at themselves, you know, just check them out as they are changing with a little hand mirror.
Mm-hmm.
And I encourage everyone who's out there who maybe is a parent or guardian of a young person that they start checking themselves out early, because then it's less embarrassing later if
Absolutely.
you sort of
Absolutely.
introduce that when they're already on the cusp of not wanting to talk about that sort of stuff. Is really great and natural way to also maybe do that together. So I know
Definitely.
everyone has different um, sort of like levels of comfort with that.
Mm-hmm.
But just to encourage it, to give the idea or at least give the input, there can't be anything wrong about this. And I think we could actually prevent a lot what's going on there. You've been talking about labiaplasty requested as young as girls who are 9 years old or something
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah,
wonderful to hear.
absolutely. I think it's so important to know what's normal for you. So I encourage people to check their vulvas once a month in the same way that you might check your chest or your pecs or testicles. It's exactly the same. You're kind of looking for lots of the same things. So whether that's sort of color changes, bumps, lumps, cuts, tears, any itchy sore patches, any change in discharge. And if you're looking every month, it's you get to know what's normal for you, so that if anything does change, you can go to the doctor and you can say, this wasn't here last month, can you have a look? And it just means that you've got such a greater understanding of your own body. I actually have a free email that you can sign up to. It's just thisisavulva.com/monthly check, and you can sign up there, and it's only used for this. There's no advertising, nothing else. I just send you an email on the first of the month reminding you to check your vulva, telling you how to do it and what you're looking for. And it's just a nice, helpful reminder to think, oh yeah, I need to find 5 minutes to go and have a look at that today. Like you said, if parents can or carers can encourage their children to do that, I think that's it gives that confidence. It's a normal thing to do, and I think that's such a lovely idea. So I'm really glad that you're encouraging people to do that too.
Yeah. Well, we have to include that into the conversation notes, this little email. I think that
Yeah,
sounds
please
wonderful.
do.
And
Yeah.
I think a lot of us could use that sort of guidance because, as we also know, like maybe it's not the most natural thing to ask that your GP
Yeah.
or your gynecologist. So it's really great that you're putting these resources out there. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Oh, you're welcome.
What are when I think about the three things you want everyone to know about vulvas, what would these three things
Ah. The three things I want everyone to know about vulvas. So the first would be that they all look completely different, and that the majority of people think that vulvas should be innies rather than outies. So that means that your inner labia shouldn't be able to be seen outside of your outer labia. But 73% of vulvas will have inner labia that you can see out of your outer labia. We just don't see them in porn. You don't see them, even if you've got images of people wearing underwear or bikinis, if you're online shopping, everything's been photoshopped and smoothed out, so there's no bulges or lumps and bumps, but that's not realistic for the majority of people. So that's the first thing I would want everyone to know. The second thing I would want everyone to know is how to wash your vulva and your vagina. So your vagina is the inside, and you do not need to wash your vagina. Don't ever put anything like water or soap or anything up inside, because your vagina cleans itself. That's what discharge is. But your vulva, you only need warm water. That's all you need. So a lot of people buy things like intimate washes and Femfresh, and you can get all sorts of things now. I've seen like you can get exfoliators, you can get I've seen brushes and all sorts of stuff, and it's so unnecessary. It really is just water. That's all you need. Your vulva has a very delicate pH balance, and any of those soaps, even though they say that they're delicate and they're made for this area, they can upset the pH balance and cause infections. What I find most upsetting about that is that actually some people use these soaps to cover up for things that might be medically wrong. So if you have an infection, you might have quite a foul odour coming from your vulva or your vagina, and actually using these soaps isn't going to help. It's just going to cover up the problem, and therefore the problem will continue and could get worse. But my main bugbear is that it's creating a problem that isn't there. So vulvas smell like vulvas, bodies smell like bodies. That's totally normal, and yet the beauty industry is kind of making it seem like, oh well, vulvas are disgusting and smelly and gross and dirty, so you have to have this very special wash that's quite expensive to buy, to use, and that will make you acceptable. And that really upsets me, because it's giving women, it's giving young girls another thing to worry about, to think that like, oh god, now I've got to buy this special soap because otherwise my vulva's going to smell and everyone's going to think a certain way of me. And I just find it really frustrating. So I'm very anti all of those special soaps and things. I think they're totally unnecessary. Yes. I've had a lot of rants about it recently, so that's why I get quite het up over it.
I do remember when I was around 13, these sort of things were definitely on the market, and I do remember buying one once.
Oh
And
yeah, I definitely used them when I was younger. Yeah.
Interesting, huh?
Yeah, I remember buying a deodorant spray for my vulva, and it ended up giving me I ended up getting thrush or something. It was just made everything so much worse. And
oops, you're
am I
back.
still here? Sorry, my phone told me I had too much time on Instagram today and cut me off. Yeah, they just made me feel more self-conscious using these sprays, and then it took me a long time to then get over that. Someone was mentioning douching, which is the squirting water or soap up into your vagina, and that can absolutely cause infections. Your vagina is a very delicate but acidic environment, and putting anything up there just alters that completely. And then if you get rid of all of the good bacteria, it means all the bad bacteria then have more space to develop and create infections. So please don't do that. Please don't ever squirt anything up your vagina. You don't need it. Your vagina cleans itself. That's the beauty of the vagina.
Yes. Wonderful. And number 3.
Oh yeah, the third one. What would my third one be? I think my third one actually at the moment would be around discharge, which is a bit more to do with the vagina than the vulva. But it's something, especially when I was younger, I was really self-conscious about and knew nothing about. And I think if I could go back to my 15, 16-year-old self, I would sit her down and be like, discharge is totally normal. You'll get it every day for the rest of your life probably, and some days it can be absolutely loads and you can feel really damp and uncomfortable, and some days you won't really get very much at all. But it is your body doing what your body does. It is cleaning out your vagina, and there's nothing to be embarrassed about by it. You don't need to hide your pants when you take them off at the end of the day. They might be wet, they might be crusty, the discharge might be a bit brown. These are all totally normal, and don't be embarrassed by them, because when I was growing up, I was so embarrassed about discharge, and I just thought I was the only one that was getting discharged. Nobody else had it. And if I knew then that everybody around me was just constantly thinking about what was happening in their pants and wondering what the hell was going on, I think I would have been a lot more relaxed about the whole thing. So yeah, discharge is totally normal. And I actually created a discharge gallery. So I asked my followers to send in photos of their pants at the end of the day with whatever amount of discharge they had, whatever it looked like, as long as it was healthy. And that's on my website too. This is thisisavulva.com/discharge gallery, I'm guessing. And it's just loads and loads of photos of pants with different amounts of discharge in. And I'm so proud of this gallery. Like, I've had so many people contacting me just saying, I was always so nervous or worried about how much discharge I had, but seeing this has made me realise there's loads of other people just like me. I had one woman in her 50s telling me that she's always been a bit unsure about like her discharge and whether it was normal or not. And having seen this, she now realises finally in her 50s that this is totally normal. And I just think, God, if we could have just got to all these people younger and just said to them, you will have discharge, this is what it looks like, this is normal, it would have just helped people so much. So it's something I'm really proud of. So I really want people to go and have a look at it and just realise, oh yeah, that's what my pants look like, and that's okay.
Right, and I imagine you can see the diversity in there. Also, again, like same as with the vulvas, they all look different. Discharge actually, or I love the word cervical fluid actually.
That's actually a bit of a nicer word. Yeah.
It changes throughout the month, so
Mm-hmm.
also like it's really a sign of health. It's showing us
Absolutely.
where we are in our cycles.
Mm-hmm.
It can give us indications about fertility, and we can learn
Absolutely.
actually so much from it.
Yeah.
One thing I learned recently is that it can actually stain your underpants because it's
Yeah.
acidic as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can
So
actually,
that's another thing that, yeah, I like to tell people because I know one of my friends had quite stained pants and she was asking me once, like, why do I get this? Is this normal? And I was like, yes, this is like, I can show you loads of other photos of other people with stained pants because this is normal. Because as I was saying earlier, your vagina is slightly acidic and that means your discharge is slightly acidic too. And that's to help keep everything germ free, essentially. And then, acid can bleach, so it can bleach underwear. Um, mine doesn't bleach, but mine kind of like eats holes in my underwear, so I have like little kind of holes in my underwear, which is kind of annoying. But it's doing its thing, so that's fine.
you need a special material.
Yeah, I know. I need to have like some acid proof underwear.
Underpants made of steel,
Hmm.
or something. No, not so
Maybe
comfortable.
something a bit more comfortable than that, but yeah.
Yeah, I recommend that too. Wonderful. Yeah, we'll make sure everyone is checking out the Discharge Gallery. Also, for those who don't know what a vulva looks like,
Mm.
I will also share a little, it's a booklet which was made by Britzberg and Brooke, the sexual health charity.
Oh, they're great.
So it's a really nice booklet, just for everyone, for young people, for adults, but it's also done through illustration. So there's just a lot of nice material there to look through. That's also age appropriate for those who are listening here, who are here because of their daughters
Hmm.
or young non-binary folk. So there's really lots of material out there that we can share. I wonder if there are any questions for Joe in the chat. There were a lot of comments.
Yeah, I saw a few pop by
Just
earlier.
checking if there's anything. Phones are just too small.
Hmm. Yeah, I can't. There's too much going on. I can't cope.
Anyhow, would you be happy for us to send people to your Instagram account and to your website?
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely. And if people have any questions, then they can DM me. I can try my hardest to reply. I'm not medically trained. I'm not a doctor or anything, but I do have several years researching this, so I do have quite a lot of answers. But yeah, if anybody has a medical question, then I always direct them to either the NHS or to their doctor. But yeah, otherwise, if you've just got questions about the vulva or discharge or even talking to young people about it, then yeah, get in touch and yeah, have a look through my Instagram. I've got lots of information on there, but always happy to point you to specific posts if that will be helpful. So yeah.
Wonderful. The last thing I'd like to ask you, because I'm asking everyone who's coming on here, is what empowerment means to you.
Ah, interesting. What does empowerment mean to me? Um, Empowerment to me, I think, is about giving people the tools and the confidence to be able to live their life the way that they want to live it. So you feel supported, able and free to be able to do what it is that would make you happy and would make you safe. And I think that you can put that across anything really, as long as you feel able to do what you want to do and feel comfortable doing it. Then yeah, I mean, if we could have everybody feeling comfortable enough to be able to do the things that make them happy, I think the world would be a much better place.
It would be a wonderful place.
Yeah.
Thank you. I really love that.
Worry.
Thank you for sharing your time, for sharing your evening. I just want to say a last thing after saying thank you. I want to say we are having a mentoring program. We are here based in the Southwest. So if anyone's curious about mentoring program for year 5s and 6s, we're really happy to give information about that. And I'll also pop a link into the conversation notes, which is about supporting us in one or the other way, if you feel that's right for you, supporting the next generation to learn about their vulvas, their reproductive organs, include a bit of feelings and puberty, the bits and bobs of puberty as well. So
that's great.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's lovely to talk to you. Great. Bye.
Bye. Ciao.